All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Healing in the Vein with yours truly. Um, Today, I have a special guest, a really good friend of mine. Um, we met in undergraduate. We're not going to say how many years ago that was because that's not that's not necessary right now. But we've known each other for some time, and so I am honored to have him on this platform. He is a great musical genius, as we will get into a little later. Um, and I wanted to do this special one because I wanted to start doing a lot more things dealing with musical artists that I know, great singers, and we are working together on a project. I'll just keep it at that. And one of the songs that he shared with me, I said, "This is um, a perfect song for this moment in time because if you all are not aware, this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, amongst others. So that is why we both have on our purple shirts because that purple is the color for awareness for domestic violence. And so we are here to discuss that plus some more music. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to first share, like, so we have it written and I'm going to share it, but let the people know who is Brett Axell.
I'm so honored to just be here today with you, Brian. Britt Axel first is a reflection of you. I am a friend. I'm someone who cares about the world, who cares about music, who cares about the things around me. So it's just an honor just to be able to be that. I'm an entrepreneur. I had a previous business, Balu Smoothies and More, in Chicago, which we just closed. It was a great 5 years, a struggling 5 years, uh, emotional roller coaster of 5 years. So I've done that. I'm a singer songwriter. I performed in so many shows. I'm a part of the Actors Equity Association. So some of the flyers that are up behind me are from uh, Broadway shows that I've done, from Porgy and Bess to Big River. It's so I've had an experience of life, and I just want to keep on having that great experience and just keep on sharing it and keep on growing with others. So that's who I am. I've done acting. I've been on Netflix. They have a show called Sing On. Just seeing if you knew before I did. A show called Sing On. So just a human enjoying an experience and journey and just growing. So it's just great to be here with healing and being better together.
Yes, 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 yes. And we're going to dive into more into that as well. But here, if you are all watching below the screen, you can see the definition of who Mr. Brett Axel is. And I laugh because just thinking about our undergraduate years, I said, this is definitely him. So, and for those who don't know, both of our names is Brian.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Hey, with the Geek Club.
and if you also didn't know, that name means strength. And I can honestly say that um, I you're looking at two very strong individuals here. Uh, and that is one of the things that I kind of admire about his music is because it is this strength to it, and definitely you will want to follow his platform, which we will put up little later, so you can follow his music. But I did want to go ahead and get into our next question, and that question is: who are some of your musical inspirations?
So some of my musical inspirations, a lot of them start from the educators who taught me. So it definitely starts from Shirley Lyons. Jacqueline Murray, Hazel Graham, Dr. Dale Reed, Dr. Julia Pedigo, because the way that I grew musically, and you'll hear that journey throughout my music when you listen to it, I've had so many experiences and so many different views. So I would say those instructors gave me ways to be able to pick the people who we know on another level are greats, such as Whitney Houston, such as Otis Redding, such as Luciano Pavarotti, such as Tim Price, uh, Luther Vandross, Brian McKnight, Tank. There's so many great people and great sounds that I've created my sound that makes me and my contribution to music. So yeah, there's so many. But
Yeah.
those would be the foundation.
And I can honestly, so I would say the sidebar, and I hadn't really finished processing this dream, but I had a dream about Whitney Houston the other night, and I thought about it, and I said, I need to tell Brian about this dream because because I know he would appreciate it. But and for the record, she was looking good as always. She was the diva extraordinaire, but she was not taking any mess. But she was, but in this particular moment, in this dream, she was right. Like people was doing the thing, and she was like,
She's on her nipple.
you going look right. You're gonna respect me, okay? That's how she was. So I was like, okay. All right. Our third question: what would you like people to know about your music?
So about my music, I would love people to know that it comes from a place of love. It comes a place of learning, comes a place of growing. So as when you listen to it, the when I do, so I've done projects which have been album projects, and then I've done projects which are just their solo projects. So when I do put out an album project, it is a whole journey that you do listen to from beginning to end. So you hear the story of me or the story of the experience I've had with others. So yeah, so I just want people just to be able to enjoy my music, have fun, grow with it, know that there's so much more we have and so much more we have yet explored. So yeah.
Yep. And I asked that because there are some artists who once they start singing one of the artists that comes to mind um when I think of this question is Pink, because when we were introduced to Pink, it was this white woman who was she had soul. She was singing the R&B lyrics like a sister, as they say.
Yeah.
And then she turned around and was like, "Okay, I'm done with all of that. This is who I really am." People were like, "Wait, what?" And I felt like not all, but some of her fan base kind of dropped off. And so I think it's always important to understand and let people know early, like the type of music, which there's a lot of artists that do music for everybody.
Yeah.
And then there's some that's I'm an R&B artist. That's all. That's it. That's all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Or I'm strictly country. This is all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to know, because I do have many people from many multiple platforms that watch this show, and I want you all to know you can listen to his music. Um, Another background, me and him used to sing in gospel choir together. So yes,
Yes.
you can find a few gospel songs. Go to Appalachian State University Gospel Choir in their archives. I promise you, there's a few CDs where you can hear him
Oh
singing.
yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there, that he's everywhere, people.
I definitely appreciate it, dude.
And okay, so again, we're gonna go back to one of the main topics. So as you know, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and you have a song called "How Many Times," and you first start off with the I guess you would say like an interlude of sorts, and it's very powerful, people. And it's what is it? Do not go to jail.
Yeah.
Um,
You gotta go to jail, baby.
the first time, right? The first time I was hearing the song, I was like listening to the album, and I heard it. I was like, "Do not go to jail." Like, what is and it's one of those songs where it's like, okay, this person's taking me there. Like they're gonna make me put my hands on them. I'm not do not go to jail. And then the song enters how many times? Um, can you take us through that song? Like, um, what was the inspiration behind that song? What was that key thing that made you write this song? Let's first
So
start.
I do appreciate that you did realize that they both went together, because that's the thing with albums. Sometimes we have to put songs, we have to separate the interludes with the songs. Some interludes don't, some interludes do, but this one did precursor that one. So that was great. You did realize that. With Do Not Go to Jail, love takes us there. Love has taken people there. We've seen it from stories that are either written as fictional characters or stories that are written as non-fictional characters. And in life, we do experience love. I know for myself, I experience love. The thought of romantic love is experience. It's not like you it's not like we put these two people together. Some people do have, arranged marriages, but even those have their experiences within that. But it's just the thought that you're colliding into someone else's world, and there are things that you tell yourself: if this person does this to me, or if that person does this to me, I'm not going to be in that relationship. But then when we start becoming vested into relationships with people, there's sometimes vulnerabilities that we make ourselves, or there's things that we allow. And sometimes those things that we allow put us in circumstances where it's like, oh, now we have to protect ourselves. And that the do not go to jail is like, I've been in situations where I've had to be like, if this person put a hand on me, don't go to jail, because for me, I know I'll black out. It's not even just like I'm not going to realize, because I'm like, did this person just put their hands on me? And I told them not to put their hands on me. Like, it's like, whoo. So that's where they do not go to jail. I'm thankful for the gift of music and song, because literally, like, I was going through a situation, a situationship. I had to tell myself, don't go to jail. Don't make this person take you out of yourself and put you into that situation. And then the how many times wrote itself afterwards, because it's like, how many times do we put ourselves in these situations that we know we shouldn't put ourselves in? And like we try so hard to be strong, or we try so hard to not put ourselves in, but sometimes we do again. So that for me with music is healing. Like, I'm able to play that and be like, I remind myself, where do I want to go to? And like, how many times is a song of reminding yourself, how many times are you gonna just keep on going on so you don't get to where you need to get to? And what we want to do is get to where we get to a better place in our life, or always stay in that peaceful part of our life. And the way we do that is by reminding ourselves, yeah, do not go to jail, do not go to jail.
Right, right. Um, and I thought it was so powerful because um, actually, I'm gonna ask you to do something. Can you sing the chorus for everyone?
For how many times?
Yes.
Yeah, the chorus goes, how many times can we say we're okay? How many times can we bend before we break? How many lies can I take for the truth before I no longer believe in you? How many tears can fall from our eyes before we discover the. What's the part? I forgot the other part. Oh my gosh. How many times before it is gone? I can't remember that part yet. Oh my goodness. I'm having a little brain fart. But you have
Yes. Yes, yes. And and people, we didn't rehearse this. I did kind of put him on the spot.
I love
But
that's the thing about that's the thing. I'm thankful to say that I am a musician and singer because you should be able to be like, hey, what's the song go? And yeah, and just like have it come from the soul, how it's feeling at that moment. So I
right.
appreciate that.
And and for those of you who the but the main part of those lyrics that I wanted to hear, I couldn't recall it myself, honestly. But when I first heard those lyrics, I literally stopped. Like I was at work, just it was in my earpiece, and I'm working, and I literally stopped, and I was like, oh wow, like because a part of a part of this platform is always getting people to recognize and take that internal check. How are you doing? How are you processing this? How are you processing life and what's happening outside of you and around you that can affect you on the inside? And so when it was that question, it's like how many times can you bend before you break? And I said, "Ooh." And then when you're talking about how like the tears falling and it's just like you can't ignore these signs.
Yeah,
You can't continue to push back. And like you were saying, you can't continue to push back how you are truly feeling about something because those are real emotions. Like you have to go through it. And it's like there's so many people that push back their emotions. I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. Okay, well, who are you trying to convince?
yeah,
The world or yourself?
exactly.
Because the when you try to quote unquote pull the wool over the world's eyes, the world can see it. Because your actions, you move differently when you're in a different space. When people who knew you before can see that there's a change in your actions, um, they're going to tell you, like, hey, they're going to ask you, like, what's going on? Like, something's not right. Like, you're not moving differently. And I can honestly say, I was going through something at a period in time, and one of my coworkers who had just met me, like we were, up until that point, I had the office to myself, and they were like, "Oh, will you get an office mate?" And I'm like, "Okay, great. Like I won't be here by myself." So the first few months we talked, but we were quiet. And then one day, like I said, I was going through some things, and she would ask me, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm good, and I wasn't. But one day when I had my breakthrough moment, I'll call it that. When I had my breakthrough moment, I came in the office and I was like, "Hey, Beta, how you doing?" Shout out to Beta because that's her name. And she was like, "Hey, Brian, I'm great." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're happy." And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "No, no, no." She said, "I can tell that you're happy because now you have light in your eyes." She said, "Before there was a darkness that was in your eyes." She said, "But now I can see you. I can see the light that's in your eyes."
That's amazing.
So it's like you can say you can push it back and to use the lyrics a little bit. How many times are you going to ask yourself or say to yourself that you're okay when you're not okay? How many times are you going to push back something that you're really feeling? Um, to cover up or to mask what you're truly feeling. You can lie to yourself, but even that comes with limitations because your actions are going to, as we say, spill the beans. And so I literally get all of that in just the chorus alone of this song, and it just took me back. And I listened to this song like 3 or 4 times back to back, and I was just like, "That Brian, I'm gonna get." I
I
was
do
like,
appreciate it.
"Ooh,
Man. It's a blessing. But I do appreciate it. I do
yeah."
definitely.
So and you know, so then the next question is, when people, as a musician, when people hear this song, and then for those who watch this interview, um, what do you hope people get out of this song? And I know you kind of shared it a little bit, but like what did you imagine, or was it something like, I created this song and I want them to see themselves. I want them to understand that it's okay to, like you said, not go to jail.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So when I did write this song, it was written in one session, and it was just the thought of I was literally in a reflective moment, just like how you went through in that sense there. So when I do hear it back, I do hope that people do get their own moment to reflect on a situation or something that's tugging or tearing at them, and allow themselves to be like, this is not where I want to be. This is where I need to be, and I'm going to put myself in that place there now and maintain there and keep moving forward, because it's really the steps of the continuous steps of being in that place of moving forward and being and informing and reminding yourself to be the best you can be and the best that you can give to others.
okay. And then another question that came to mind is because you talked about how music inspires. Um, as an artist, has your own music healed you, and how did that make you feel as an artist? That wow, like I healed my own self through my own music.
It's it's an amazing feeling. I've written songs not realizing, or sometimes not having experienced the full magnitude of a song. And then there's been times where I've written something and then I come back and I'll go through an experience, and because I listen to my music all the time, but not, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll pop something in. And sometimes it'll just be like, I have my songs added to other playlists. So when things go into rotation, they'll play, and I'll play something and I'll be going through a feeling, and I'll hear the song and I'll be like, man, I know how it feels to be there. Because sometimes I write a song and it's literally like a song will just write itself. And I might not be experiencing what's going on. It's just like a song just writing itself. But it's writing the future for me to remind myself when it happened. So,
Right.
yeah, no, it's a cool feel because I've had that. I've had moments where it's just like, like I'll write a song and I'd be like, oh, like, okay, like that's the song, like that's what it is. So I'm just gonna leave it. And sometimes I'll be like, but I haven't really experienced that, but maybe that's how it will be. And then I'll experience it and be like, yeah, I just now I realize.
Right.
So yeah, it's a great feeling.
And I think that comes like definitely with being a creative. And I ask that because also for those who don't know, I write poetry. And I remember at App, there were a few things that I wrote. And then maybe 2 or 3 years later, after graduation, I'm scrolling through Facebook because that's where I kept a lot of them. Um, well, not a lot, but a few. And I would read them, and I'm like, "Wow, I wrote that." It's like it's very pertinent information to what I was going through at that time, and it's like, oh, like I wrote this before I knew that I needed this, and it's helping me. Like, and it's like, okay, so I definitely get that.
Yeah,
Um, and that's it's like that's how the universe and the world works. Is that you get inspired to do something, not realizing the full effect of it until you're able to experience it. So I definitely love that part of it. But with all stories, and I'll even go with in our fictional stories, there's always a happy ending. So I do want to share another song that he is pushing out. And it's a completely different song. It's a happy song. It's a song that I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to play it for you. Um, and it is called "With You." So we're going to take a few minutes to listen to that. Let me see. Just a second. There we go.
The kisses you gave, I'll never forget. Moments we share remain etched in my head. On Boulevard, you showed me the stars. I'll never forget you unlocking my heart. From the first kiss I knew, universe turned us to fools. Like a fairy tale came true, dashing shades of you. But very few words you spoke to my heart, forcing me to challenge my thoughts. Home without you now ain't no home to me. When we are apart, I can't wait to be with you, with you, with you. The kisses you gave, I'll never forget. Moments we shared remain etched in my head. On Boulevard, you showed me the stars. I'll never forget you unlocking my heart. Home without you now ain't no home to me. When we are apart, I can't wait to be with you, with you, with you.
Oh,
Hey.
all right. So now tell us about that song.
I do want to say before I go delve into the song, shouts out to Jelani Julius McEwen. He is the person that provided me with the beat, and my producer Robert Snow Clark. He's the one that mixed what you hear. That's on Pandora. That's on Spotify. That's on all the platforms. YouTube Music. Uh, Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh my goodness, like I hear it's a joy like when you hear your music and it comes out how you want it or how you envision it will come out. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's because it was written from a place of love. It was written from a place of knowing someone that you spend time with, and it's like that romantic and that sensual feeling of wanting to just be with that person and know that, yeah, home without you just ain't no home to me. Yeah. When we are apart, I can't wait to be. Okay. I hope I'm
Right.
because I just heard it. It just like it got me butterflies. I was like,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm sure some of my watchers and viewers are like, why did Brian play this song? Because I think it's important for people to understand that the comparing the two songs, when you're at that point where you are not being truthful to yourself, right?
Yeah.
and you're masking over some things, you're in a total different space from when you recognize those things, you heal yourself, and then you prepare yourself in the healing for a new love. And like when you prepare yourself for that new love and that new love comes in, and y'all heard him just say a few seconds ago, it's the butterflies you get. It's like, ooh, like I can't wait to get home to see you and be with you. And it's like you're coming out of that place of, I just went from a traumatic experience, but it's also saying to yourself that I'm going to heal myself because I'm not going to give up on love.
Yeah.
And I feel I've known, I have heard people say, I've had that one bad experience and I don't want to love again. I
Yeah.
don't want to get married again. I don't want to date again, even if it's from a loss. People get in that state of mind that love is not for you, but it is. Love is warming. Love is healing. It brings out the creativity in you, a different side of your creativity.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, I mean, he's a creative genius. Come on, you know, he's a creative genius. He wrote a dark and it was uplifting. He wrote a light and it was uplifting, right? Because it allows you to see the different views of love, the different sides of love. Um, and when you're talking about love first has to begin with yourself, your love of self,
Oh yeah.
and
Definitely.
then from there, love to someone else.
And then it could blossom and bloom. So good.
Exactly. So yep. So what else would you like the people to know about Brett Axel? This song. Um,
The song does come off of a project. The album project is called Nectar. So Nectar is a whole experience within love of itself, and you'll hear that as we talk about the songs. I'm just excited for people to just go listen to it, stream it on Pandora. Right now, we have a great things at Pandora right now, so definitely go stream it on Pandora. Check it out. It's available on Spotify, YouTube Music, all streaming platforms. So the album is called Nectar. You'll see my face on it, so you'll know that it is who it is that's on there. And I have so many great things happening right now. I mean, I went through a period of just like being just quiet and just like observing life, and that's the thing is even just to be kind to ourselves in experiences that we go through because it is a journey that we're all taking. So just reminding ourselves to be kind to ourselves. So I'm excited because I will be at Disney in a couple of weeks. They have a great international holiday show. So I'll have more information. I'll share that to be once I have confirmation with different things. But I'm excited about that. Just excited about the next journey in life. I'm excited about
right.
living.
And
Yeah.
speaking of Nectar, um, because one other thing that I noticed about Nectar is that you incorporated some international sounds. I'll put
Yeah.
it. And I just smiled because tell the people where you're from.
Yeah, so I am American, but I am from South America. I'm from Guyana, South America, so I'm Guyanese and American. I'm American Guyanese, so it's great to have sounds that I grew up with, sounds from different drums, sounds of different levels of acoustic instruments, and so yeah, definitely, Nectar
Yes.
is fulfilling.
Yes. That was the other thing, and I had to make sure I didn't start dancing in the office because I love to dance people.
Well, if you
And,
feel like dancing somewhere, dance. Don't worry about who's around. Just make sure that you feel safe and just dance. Yeah, move around.
yeah. And for those who didn't know, dancing is also another form of liberation.
Yes.
That is another form of liberation. Um, so yes, I love it. I love the album. Go check out the album Nectar. As he said, you can find it on all platform streams. I did provide the Pandora platform. Look up Brett Axell, you will see his face. And you can see other music that he has produced over the years. Like I said, like you'll find all kinds of music. Just Google him. You will find so many different pieces of music that he's done, and um, like also look up the Black Genius Project.
Yeah. www.blackgenius.com.
That project, people. I'm telling you, the first time I heard it, I just looked and I was just like, I think I even text you like, "How dare you put this out here like this?" You know how so, and I'm gonna tell you how it was. So imagine you minding your business, your own business, and you just scroll and then it's like, oh, you just released a new project, and it's like, and I will say this, my reaction to it is like how a lot of people responded to when Beyonce did her surprise album that nobody knew. She just dropped it like bam. I was just like, he didn't tell me. And I listened and I was like, how dare you do this?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, the Black Genius is amazing. We do have right before the holidays coming up. We're going to have uh, a full compilation coming out with some hidden surprises. So I will make sure to get that to you. But yeah, it's definitely great music. There's
Yeah,
great music out there. There's great music that's being written, that's being shared. So keep finding great music, not only from myself. As you see, like I will have playlists on Pandora and other streaming services. So the playlist I have, check it out because I love music. So it's not even my music that I love. I love hearing other great musics because all those things inspire us and help us be better.
yes. So you all heard it first, people, right here. Support your local artists.
Yeah.
Support your friends. That's okay, we I promise you we're gonna get off soon. But I always tell people, I always um the school that we went to, I would say it was very highly musically influenced. We
Yeah.
have so many people that we know that are great, amazing singers. Some have their own platforms in artistry, some have
Have their own
a mutual friend of ours.
duo.
Listen,
They have
um,
their music out.
right, like for those of you who had the what is it, the lady who was saying, ain't nobody got time for that. The music producer
Oh
behind it
yeah,
is a great friend of
Michael
ours.
Gregory, the Gregory
So
brothers.
it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, like
you
shout
have
out to
producer,
Mike.
you have producer Dan Miller, who's from New York, who's had some great stuff out there. Eric Church,
Yes,
who's from App.
yes,
Yeah, John Woodall's from App. He's a great singer songwriter in North Carolina. So yeah, there's some amazing people out
yes. So we have a lot of people, but so it's like sometimes look in your own backyard, you never know. And I always share this story, last story for real, because my mom told me, she was like, oh yeah, I used to live around the corner from Patti LaBelle. And I looked at her, I said, why isn't she my godmother? Like, I feel like me and Patty should be, hey mama, what's up, what you doing? What you mean you live
The
around the
Andy
corner from?
Patty.
Right. And she said, well, it was just the LaBelle sisters then. I said, and you did not think to befriend her? She could have been my whole godmother in these streets. What are you talking about? So you never know, who can bless you and how and where life will take them, where life will take you. So open yourself up uh, to people. Don't close yourself off. That's another thing about music is it will open you up.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you all for tuning in today. Um, Thank you, Brian, for joining us today, aka Brett Axell,
Oh,
Black Genius Extraordinaire. Thank you for coming on this platform. And as I always say to all my watchers and listeners, be blessed because when I say that, I'm telling you to be blessed on purpose. Don't be blessed otherwise. Just be blessed on purpose. And yes, shout out to Omega Psi Phi in the house. So thank you all for tuning in, and you have a good evening.
you bless y'all. Take care.